Well, today marks exactly a year since Eldorado Park teen Nathaniel Julies was shot and killed allegedly by police. 3 police officers were arrested and charged with murdering the young man who had Down syndrome. But now they're all out on bail. And Julius' mother says the family is still seeking closure and answers to his murder. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila is following developments and joins us live now from Eldorado Park. Aviwe, good morning to you. You had an opportunity to speak to Nathaniel Julius' mother. Just talking about what the family's been going through. I mean, what's the status on how they're doing, especially a year on after their son passed?
You know, Tumela, this is one of the heartbreaking stories. I mean, I was just with Celine, the younger sister of Nathaniel Julius. As she was just walking around the street, you could see she's very teary-eyed. I was asking her what's the matter, and she says that she misses Nathaniel Julius, the little brother that was gunned down a year ago by the South African Police Service. In fact, just right behind me is the van, essentially the truck where he was shot by the police, going underneath that truck over there and then dragged by the very police, chucked into a SAPS van and then driven off to Bara Hospital. Conversation I had with his mother, Bridget, who tells me that even now the family is not coping because Lokis, as he was fondly known in this community, was quite a jovial soul with Down syndrome, loved by a lot of people in the community. In fact, he was fondly named as Biscuit. Tyrone joins me now quickly just to tell us about this name. Why was he named Biscuit, Tyrone?
He was a very jolly person. We used to love him. He used to run around us and everything. But why we used to call him Biscuit, you know that usually kids will run to you and ask you for money. And us, maybe he'll say, "Uncle, give me 100. He used to come to us and just say, "Biscuit, just buy me biscuit." That's, you know, and he was a Down syndrome kid. And we used to love him because he was a jolly person. He used to make jokes even he couldn't speak properly. And he used to love to cheat and jive and you know.
That's one of the memories that were fondly remembered of him, a person that used to dance. Of course, we've been following even the court cases, which now will appear in the 4th of October, where the trial is expected to begin. 3 police officers all out on bail. Is something I spoke to Bridget Harris, mother of Nathaniel Julius, who says that the family is not doing too well. Just listen on that conversation we had with Bridget.
The family is not coping because after Nathaniel's passing, the children doesn't cope at school. They have poor points, and you know, they literally blame each other. You know, constantly have this anger inside of them, and I'm not actually coping.
Aviwe, before I let you go, then the status of those police officers, of course, who are out on bail. I know, as you mentioned, Bridget's Nathaniel Julius' mother not pleased about, you know, what's been happening in court, the lack of accountability on her son's killing. I mean, what's the status there in terms of those police officers?
All out on bail, with the last 2 receiving bail, we understand, in July. Simon Scorpion Jailivana, as well as Kayleen Whiteboy, the then 23-year-old, which we do understand was the one that pulled the trigger that took Nathaniel's life. We heard in those bail applications that she didn't intend to do it. She thought that it was rubber bullets that were loaded in that shotgun, as they had earlier incidences where she was firing rubber bullets with that very shotgun. She says unknowingly to her, those were switched into live ammunition. Of course, we're going to hear that in trial in the 4th of October. But Bridget Harris says that she is discontent with the proceedings so far. It's been taken a year, and essentially having to hear, she remembers having to hear how they were given bail and just how the judge explaining what good citizens they were, essentially, in that preamble before the judgment was given, saying that the children need them. And she says while their families will be with these police officers, she has to deal with the loss of Nathaniel Julius, which happened this very day last year in the evening, we understand, just after 9 p.m. as Lokis, as was fondly known, in search of those biscuits that were just mentioned now by Tyrone, going to the shop. In fact, we're merely some 20 meters away from Nathaniel's home. As remember that he was shot in this truck, and just down the road there, in front of that truck even, is where Nathaniel lived, and this all happened.
All right, well, we'll have to leave it there. Aviwe Mtila, just, of course, talking to us about his conversation with Bridget Harris, the mother of Nathaniel Julies. I suppose a double blow for a mother whose worst nightmare, seeing, of course, her child lose his life at a young age, but also not receiving the justice deserved as yet.